because you can sit and answer questions for people all day, and there's a lot of questions. And it's funny, I sometimes run these risk-free promote. How many of you guys get my emails? Right? I put out there like this 100% risk-free, membership offer, and a lot of people will reply back and say, "How is it risk-free if it costs $25? And my response to that, and I don't do the responding because my assistant does all that work, but the response that we give to people is that if $25 is too big of a risk for you, then this is probably not for you, right? We take it away from people because we're looking for, and Dee kind of alluded to this earlier, she said small business owners are people who understand investment. And I always say that, for the right person, there's nothing you have to say, and for the wrong person, there's nothing you could say. So, if you have somebody asking you if you made money in the business, it doesn't mean that they're a skeptic. It doesn't mean that they're not right for the business. It just means that maybe they're just not ready yet. They're just not ready right now. So, do your best to avoid those. Like Tony said, you can prevent those questions by taking full ownership of your business and exuding a higher level of confidence and belief in what you're doing. Because it's only a victim that a bully will come and pick on. So don't, make sure that you're not the victim, that people perceive you as somebody that would easily crumble if they asked the question, how much money have you made?
Dee is grooming Justin.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
She's like,
that's awesome.
did y'all see that?
That is actually, when you sit in a lotus for 30 minutes, your ankle is twisting, so she's just rubbing it. It looks like I'm getting groomed though, right?
It did.
It's kind of cool.
And y'all remember the
Only at
kids?
Empower Network, right?
So he kicked off the letters, and then this morning he was like, where'd that come from? I'm like, I wonder. So I was just seeing it now.
All right, let's go. Anyone else want to answer that question about...
We're good.
Yeah, let's get some more questions, guys. We got some more videotape.
Hi, this is Richard from Canada. My question is for all the leaders on stage. When did your actual why change from being more personal about yourself to the greater vision of what you can do to help others in the world? Was it before or after your success started?
Okay, did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay, the question was, did we have this vision of wanting to, reach out and help and support and create a better world? Did that come before or after we started making some money?
I got that.
Okay.
You got it.
I will give you my perspective. I was broke as a convict when I started here, and I was not thinking about anybody but the Rush family. I'm not saying that I'm being a little bit facetious. Not that I didn't care about the rest of the world. But there's a diagram I saw. It's kind of like Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, except it's not. It's something else. It's like in the middle is this tiny little circle, and that's you. And then the next concentric circle out from that is like, okay, this is your family. And then outside that, you got your community. And then outside that, you got, other things. And then you got the world. And the general idea is that you can't address any circle on that chart until you have handled the smaller circle inside of it. Jesus said it this way. He said, if you want to talk to somebody about the kingdom of heaven and they're thirsty, you'd better bring a glass of water with you. Everybody remember that? Right? In other words, you can't, his point was, you can't go talk to someone about the kingdom of heaven. He's so focused on his own thirst, he's not going to be able to hear anything about that until you help him with his most immediate problem. And I was in dire straits when I got here. I was, no joke. I'm literally, okay, let's get all the coins together in the house, go down to the Coinstar machine, and maybe I can get enough money together to buy a loaf of bread and some sandwich meat for the kids. That was 2.5 years ago. So, 2 years ago, actually. I couldn't see past, I couldn't envision drilling wells in the Central African Republic, or giving theater donations to the kids in our community or things like that. I was totally focused on, let me get me and my house in order. But as you probably suspect, where's the gentleman who asked the question, by the way? Is he in here? Oh, right on. Great question, by the way. He's on the front row. That's a good seat. So after I got that part taken care of, then it was like, okay, what can I do for this next area? And the beautiful thing is you cannot outgive. And once you start taking care of things, there is no limit to what kind of impact you can make on the world. But it's a little bit like the old airline steward thing the story we tell, when if something happens in the plane, they say to put your air mask on first before you help the person sitting next to you. You can't do you have to help from a position of strength. So there's a lot of really good-hearted people in here who want to make a difference in the world, and that is an honorable and wonderful place to have your priority, except make sure that you are yourself standing on solid ground. Otherwise, when you reach to help, somebody else, you actually can exacerbate the problem a bit. So it's a journey. Short version, it's a journey.
Yeah, I think a good way to say that too is just the best way to save a drowning person is not to be one of them. Right?
For me, I didn't, I'm kind of the opposite of Tissa, right? Tissa was concerned with saving his home, and then he did, right? And maybe, I don't know, I'm not trying to speak for Tissa, but I'm just kind of guessing, maybe at that point, once he got that together, then he could say, you know what, if I can do it, I can show other people how to do it. For me, I lost the home. So I wasn't successful. This was just 5 years ago. At that point for me, I was literally in the house speaking on these videos because I was trying to save the home. But then I got to a point, but I'll tell you this, I was concerned about the home, but then if I couldn't save the home, I was still concerned about the credit. Like I had so many different things that I wanted to keep intact. And I got to a point where I said, forget it. Forget the house, forget the credit, it's stressing me out, I'm not happy about this, I'm gonna just let it go. So for me, it was easier to just let all that crap go and start over. And once I began to start over, I moved in with my dad and my stepmom, they're right back there. I moved right in, and as soon as I was able to let go of the stress of having to worry about that stuff, then for me, I could begin to talk about how I could help more people.
My perspective was just like Tony's. I came in just really to retire myself and my family, look after my family and all that, and give up a job that I hated. And I managed to do that in April this year, by the way, so I'm full-time now. That was my why. But then when you join Empower, obviously they hook you up with a $25 thing, and you think you got to just join a business opportunity or a pyramid scheme or whatever. But then your
It's a trapezoid. It's a trapezoid, Paulo.
I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever. But that was my why. But then your why became so much bigger. And if you'd have told me like a year ago that I would be on stage, sharing the stage with people like Tony Rush and Tracy Walker, Aaron, and the rest of us, I would just call you crazy, because I came into this business just to make a buck, stay under the radar, make some money and travel the world. But it becomes so much more than that, Actually, I think it was you who once said on stage that Empower Network is a leader's factory disguised as a business opportunity, which is just spot on. So your why changes, guys, and you will see that your why will change. My why now is to help you guys. I don't particularly like to be on stage and speak. Not really, but I get out of my comfort zone to share my story with you guys, and my why is completely different now. I'm going to be honest with you, my why is going to be at the stage where I don't care about the money anymore, and I just want to help the next guy. I wake up in the morning and I think, who else can I help? Who else can my message impact? So that's my why.
For me, it feels like it's all one and the same, because by truly breathing and adjusting our own oxygen masks, as Tony Rush said, we are helping all of y'all breathe, right? So the focus in the beginning is to help yourself. It could be driven by helping others, because that's probably everyone up here has that passion in their heart, and that's why they're all here. They don't have to be here. So I would find that passion And if my passion, which, you know, I think it was 2006 or 2007, I don't know if my Aunt Rosebud is in here. She's my mom's older sister. She was here yesterday. And we started a radio show to help awaken humanity and just teach the truth, which was suppressed. And we didn't make any money for that, right? But we just did it because we felt it was the right thing to do. And I know I gained some skills out of that, though, right? Getting on video and talking about how evil the government is and stuff like that. You know, that's what created the hippie Jedi today. So I just wanted to rant a bit.
I think for me, when Justin said it's all one and the same, it's a very brilliant and wise sentence in itself, because when you're talking about yourself, even if you're not religious or spiritual, there is a connection between people. You know, some people may not feel it with strangers because they're not aligned or in tune to that. Other people just feel it with their spouse and their family. The point is, when we're building and we're growing ourselves, you only can attract people who want to build and grow themselves on that same level. And it happens to be the same way when you're building your business, just with money. So I know when you add money into it, it kind of, you know, messes with your head a little. But the truth is, if you're willing to grow your income and yourself during that process, you will attract people who will also grow in that way. And it doesn't matter what their goals are or what their intentions were, you're still aligned to help each other grow in that path. And so I feel that if you can just be honest with where you are now and where you want to go, there will be people along the way to help you get there. And you don't have to worry about the people who aren't concerned with the way that you do things. Oh, well, you know, I don't meditate and I'm not a hippie Jedi. Well, then that's fine, because you're going to attract the people that do whatever you enjoy like to do. And whatever you enjoy to do is what resonates with your being. And that, to be honest, it's much more peaceful within a person to have a self-assurance that I can be who I am, I can love the way that I want to love, and I'm going to attract people who are on that same length. I don't think it really matters to attract the masses, or, you know, to just put something out there that will haphazardly attract just anyone. I think aligning yourself to that energy, you know, people laugh when Justin says that, you know, he really does think and resonate about it. But the truth is, it's why we've attracted the people that we have into the business, is because of our alignment. So aligning yourself to why you're doing this and getting to that point, by the time you get to the other side, everyone around you is helping you get to where you want to go.
I think, you know, there's a lot of ways that I can answer this question. You know, there's an old slogan, I think it was Greenpeace, that says, you know, think globally, but act locally, right? You guys remember that? Think globally, but act locally. That means cast your long-term vision for what you want to create in your life, but focus in on the immediate now so that you're fully present to what's possible for you and the people that you can touch, move, and inspire in the sphere of influence that you have. Right, both directly and indirectly, right? With social media, we have such a far reach. And sometimes we take for granted that everything we do and say, people are watching us all the time. Right? Do you realize that? When, you know, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had where just this weekend so far, in the last 24 or 48 hours, where people say that, you know, they saw some post that somebody made on Facebook, or they saw some, you know, on Google Plus or something like that, or some status update someplace, somewhere on the internet, and they saw something, and the person that made the post has no idea that people are watching, right? We tend to count how many likes we get, right? And how many badasses we get now on our new Blog Beast platform. That's pretty cool, right? And how many reblogs or shares or how many comments, right? I think sometimes we tend to gauge, you know, how well we're doing in business by the response that we get, the approval that we see. But there is far more that we don't see that's taking place around us, and I think we have to be very aware of who we're really touching and influencing by the things that we're doing, and also by the things that we're not doing. I want to share a quick story. We still have a few more minutes before we wrap up. And, you know, we shared this story in Portugal with my Portuguese kick-ass, badass, lazy warriors. And, you know, it's about a man walking on the beach, and he sees a whole bunch of starfish, thousands of starfish lined up along the water, on the edge of the water. And he starts leaning or bending down and picking up starfish and throwing them back in the water one at a time. And some tourist, you know, guy that was walking along the beach said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And the man throwing the starfish says, "Well, I'm throwing these starfish back in the ocean because if they sit out on the sand for too long, they'll dry up and die." And the man looking around the beach says, "Well, there's thousands of starfish here. You don't possibly think that you can make a difference, do you?" And the man leans down, picks one up, throws it back in, and says, "Made a difference to that one." So I think a really good, you know, perspective when it comes to how do we build our business successfully while thinking about changing the world that we live in, the world that we surround ourselves with, and the world that we create, but not be so selfish that we can't focus in on our families and our personal bank accounts and our bills, our credit cards, and some of the financial breathing room that we want. And, you know, this has become a very, very kind of, you know, yin and yang conversation. You know, if I'm supposed to be focused on other people, right? We always hear focus enough on other people and getting what they want, and you'll always get what you want, right? But then the question is well, how am I supposed to focus on other people and still get what I want? So to bring this full circle, again, think globally but act locally, meaning in your day-to-day operation, right? In your day-to-day workflow and your activities and all the work that you're focusing in on through your revenue-producing activity, think about the person that you're connecting with through your message. Think about that audience that you're building through your message, through your blog posts, through your social media update, through your videos, through the content that you're writing, through your broadcast messages and follow-up emails, and in the one-on-one conversations. Focus more on helping them solve a problem, and you will take care of your own problems. But it's not until those people that you're actually helping solve a problem for feel that you really, truly do care about them, and that you're not just in it for yourself and to make some money. So it's a much larger conversation. I mean, we could really go deep on this. We don't have the time now, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of conversation about this throughout the rest of the weekend. But when you want success more for other people than they want it for themselves, that becomes very, very unhealthy. So as a marketer, your job is to find those people who are looking for you just as much as you're looking for them. And those are the people who you focus on, and those are the people that you really hone in on and pay attention to and listen to and connect with. And then it won't feel like you're selling anything. And what it'll feel like is that you're helping them solve their problem, and in turn, they'll be helping you solve yours. So I wanted to just share that. Guys, we are officially out of time.
Everybody, give a round of applause for our panel this evening.
Thank you guys so much.